Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be trying out this adorable contender to the Wuling Hongwang Mini's crown. It is of course the Geely Panda Mini. Let's check it out. So here we are with the Geely Panda Mini, and this is the latest entrant to China's burgeoning electric micro car scene. And if you know anything about the Chinese car industry, you'll know that the Wuling Hongwang Mini is the GOAT in this segment. It sells about 30 to 40,000 every single month. And it's essentially got a whole new generation of Chinese drivers onto the road. But if there's going to be any contender for that crown, it could be this one, because look at it, it's so cute. It's super cute, these big circular morpish eyes, this crescent moon daytime running light, which looks really cool, sort of slightly flat indented face. Reminds me in white, actually a lot of big Hero 6, but maybe a bit more squared off. You'll see we got quite a high waistline and a bigger bonnet on this car than you do get on the Wuling Hongwang. If I come around here, it'll show you these alloys. Okay, they're not alloys, they're wood trims, but they're only 14 inches. This is the big one. They're called bear claw alloys. They look a little bit like a bear claw, I suppose, just bigger than the ones that I had in my original Mini years ago. You can get these in 13 or 14 inches. So little tiny wheels. We got fake carbon wing mirror casing here, which is interesting. And this also slightly strange step up in the B pillar, which to be fair, does block your view a little bit in the back, but it looks quite cool. Then you've got this enormous door. I mean, that must be at least a meter from front to back. It's almost the entire wheelbase of this car. And one more feature it'll show you on the front here is this enormous 64-inch panoramic sunroof, which is basically the entire roof of the car. It's very squared off, looks a lot like a Japanese K car. So let's check out the back, and it'll show you how squared off it really is. So at the back, as I said, we do have a very squared off look, very much like a Japanese K car. Quite tall, quite boxy. We don't have a full width daytime ring light on this car, unlike most other cars in China these days, but we do get these cute little units with a C-shaped daytime ring light, little triangle in the corner here. As well, you get your indicators and your reversing lights in there. And your fog light is down here. Now, this car, despite being just over 3 meters long, also comes with a reversing camera and parking sensors. Just in case you struggle to park a car this small, I don't understand how you possibly can. You'll notice how we have geometry written on the back. Here, geometry used to be the budget electric branded Geo. They've now been kind of absorbed into Geely, I would say, and this is somehow in the middle. Geo Ming small electric Geely. Not sure anyway we got a hatch here, but as you'll see, we don't have a massive amount of space in there. It'll demonstrate with this bag. You'll see how wide that is. This basically just about fits in there, but apparently there's 60 liters of space in there. I don't know how they were calculating that, but if you need more, up to 800, you can fold the seats flat. They have a 50-50 split, so you can always take 3 people or 2 people if you need something much bigger in here. That's not bad, actually a decent amount of space inside, of course, for what you're going to be using this car for daily shopping things like that. You don't really need much more space than that. One thing I will point out, though, this has clipped me a few times, and it's slightly low down. So if you do buy one, watch out for this. So that's the back. And let's go and check out the interior, okay? So stepping into the Geely Panda Mini, and you know what, actually there's quite a lot of space in here. This is really quite spacious. And actually, it's also small enough you sort of slide over and sit here in the passenger seat. So if I want to park up against a bush or a wall with this side, I can just get out on that side, which is great. That's quite functional now. As I said, we're at the bottom end of the market, so let's just get a few things out of the way. Yes, we've got a lot of harsh plastics, not a lot of insulation, but that's what we're expecting. So we're not going to talk too much about that. Let's talk about what we do have. And actually, there's probably a lot more than you would expect. So, very basic steering wheel, no reach or rake adjustment. Of course, no buttons on there other than a horn. But you do get an airbag. You also get ABS and EBD. So it does come with some safety features. What we do get on this one, which is one of the top additions, this is an 8-inch screen. So it's actually from about here to here, and you get different functions in there. That's quite good because you can connect it to an app on your phone. And you can therefore get your music, your maps, your radio, almost like a screen mirroring for your Android or your iPhone. And it works pretty well. It's a little bit slow, but it does work. And it functions pretty well now on the lower models. You don't get a screen at all. You don't even get a radio. You don't even get speakers. On this car, we do get speakers. We get 2. That's it. That's the maximum number of speakers you can get. And there you know about as good as you would expect. If you really want some music, I would probably get yourself a big Bluetooth speaker and stick it in one of these pockets on the dashboard. Now, for those cars, they will deal with this 9.6-inch screen, which is here. And this actually comes with a hell of a lot of information on it. So even without this, you can still use your ventilation. Controls, and we do get air conditioning, which is cooler. Drive selector is down here, or as it's translated on the Geely website, a super cute knob. And that just says reverse neutral and drive, and your window switches electric windows. As well on all models are down there as well. So yeah, it's very basic, very friendly, but you'll see it's actually very light in here as well because of that panoramic roof. It's absolutely enormous. You get also mirrors on you get on the passenger side as well. You do get a passenger side mirror. You've got your microphones here, so actually you can talk to the car as long as you have the screen and use that sort of speaking to the car functionality. But you get a big tray across the back there for extra space. Quite a deep pocket here, another pocket under there. And then you get quite slim, I would say, door pockets. So you're going to squeeze a bottle in there. If you want to get one into there, you get a handbrake, manual handbrake, and we've also got a 120 watt 12V power outlet. There, and on this one, we also get two just normal USs. They're not us, but yeah, it's super basic. All that you want also. These chairs, by the way, these are sort of a one-piece design. They're quite funky. And the top part you can unzip, so you can take the cover off and go and wash it if your kids make a mess of the car. Let's go and check out the back okay. So climbing into the back of the Panama is actually not as bad as you might think if you get the right shape you can get in the back. No problem now. Let's put this front chair back. Let's put it slightly more laid back than it might be. And yet, if I put my knees directly behind, they are touching the back of the scene. But if I just open them slightly, actually it's pretty adequate. And there's loads of foot room down there as well. So it's not as tight back here as you think. It's a lot bigger than the Wuling Hongwang. But then the car is longer. So that does make a difference now, fairly basic. Of course, you've only got a little armrest of doors over there, so big. The cup holders for the rear seats are actually in the back of the front door, so you can still access that quite. Area in here quite spacious because of this 64-inch panoramic roof, but you don't get that in all models, so it might be a bit more dingy in the lower end models. The biggest gripe for me really is this kind of shape in the B pillar, because all I could see over it if I was a child, that would be totally blocking my view, and it can distract you a little bit when you're in the driving seat. So the visibility probably isn't as great as it could be, even though you do have quite a large glass house. So that's my only real gripe with the back. You also get two Isofix mountings on here. So if you do have kids, you can strap them in. So as I said, yeah, it's bigger than the Wuling Hongwang in the back, definitely more spacious. I think though it's time to take it for a drive. Okay, now I'm really pleased that I got to drive this car in Hangzhou, because we do have some very lovely little roads here around the lakes, and they're a little bit narrow, really accentuate the benefits of having a micro car like this. But it'll tell you where it really stands out, and that's in a car park, because with all these other drivers in subs and saloons, and they're doing 20-point turns trying to fit into a tiny parking space, and this is an absolute dawdle now. This car comes with a choice of two powertrains, both electric, both rear-wheel drive. You get a 20-kilowatt motor. It's about 27 horsepower, 85 newton meters of torque. That is twin with a 9.61 kilowatt-hour battery, which is rated to 120 kilometers on the CLTC range. Now I will say that CLTC is pretty generous, so expect between 50 to 60% of that in reality. That one weighs just 715 kilograms. So it's pretty light. The 30 kilowatt variant, that's about 40 horsepower, comes with 110 newton meters of torque. That one is paired with 17 kilowatt hour battery, which is rated at 200 kilometers on the CLTC cycle. This one weighs 788 kilograms. So actually in terms of weight and performance, it is very much similar to an original Mini. It's almost the exact same in terms of that performance, though what I would say is it's not obviously super quick. You don't expect that, but it is sprightly. It's more than enough to drive around the city. And you don't feel like you're getting left behind by all the other cars. And you do get two choices of speed, so you get normal, and Sport Sport is slightly quicker. But you know it's not really. That was me exaggerating. It doesn't really put you back in your seat. But it's okay, it's fine now. On the ride comfort side, I would say it's slightly more rudimentary than normal cars. So it'll be a little bit choppy over on certain roads, but not as much as you expect. Actually, the only really crashes over big speed bumps and big potholes. But most of the time, it's totally fine. It's totally acceptable for a car that probably doesn't have the most advanced suspension in it. And more than that, it's fun. I mean, if you throw this car around corners, you will get a lot of lean. You will get a lean. You'll feel like the car is about to tip over. It probably won't because we got a battery lower down, but it is smile-inducing. It's fun. What I would say is if you go around a tight corner, you can actually up the inside rear wheel, which lifts up a little bit, and get a bit will spin that does put a smile on your face. It does feel like a little bit of a childish giggle. So yeah, it's great. It's really enjoyable to drive. The seats are totally adequate for the short journeys that you're going to be making in this. Probably you might get a little bit more uncomfortable if you're doing a really long journey. But to be honest, probably not that much. I mean, they're all right, not massive bolsters or anything, but you're not expecting that. It is totally fine. The steering is light enough now. The wheels are right out in the corner. So it's really direct. Of course, you do feel quite connected, I would say, to the steering. Yes, it is lighter because it's power steering assisted on all models. So you do get power steering it on all of them, but the chances are you actually probably wouldn't need its skinny, tiny wheels. You wouldn't even need power steering on this, but you get it anyway. I would definitely recommend having one of these as a second car if you want to make short journeys. You're not going to feel shortchanged at all. Chances are you're not going to be taking 4 people in your car. So you've got space for your shopping. You just fold down your seats or put behind the seats or in the footwell. Down there's loads of space in this. There's actually loads of space in this car, genuinely spacious on higher spec versions of this car. You can also get 22 kilowatt DC fast charging. So it will charge pretty quick. It's claimed to be able to do 30 to 80% in half an hour. And yesterday it took me about an hour to do 12 to a full charge. It only cost me about £180 or about 2.20 to charge, which was great now, pricing wise the most. Basic version of the Panda, which is called the Cute Bear, that comes with nothing that means no. Speakers, no radio, no central screen, no USB sockets, no reversing camera, no panel roof, but does come with electric windows and parking sensors and airbag and abs. And so on that one starts at 39,900 RMB. That's about £4,800, $5,750. If you want the top of the line version, which is what we have, that one starts at 53,900 RMB. That's about £6,500 or $7,750, which is an absolute bargain really if you think about what you're getting. That compares quite favorably to the Wuling Hongwang, which starts at a lower price point, about 32,000 RMB. But if you want the fancier Wuling Hong Kong, you've got to pay between 42 and 52,000 RMB for a Macaron edition, which comes with a few extra features. But I don't think it comes with as many nice features, as this doesn't come with the 8-inch screen in the center for example. So actually, yeah, in terms of price comparison, this one is quite a favorable. I do think you get a more grown up, a more complete car with the Geely Panda Mini. It's also slightly bigger. So it's 14.5 centimeters longer. I believe it's about 5 centimeters wider. It is a couple of centimeters shorter in terms of height, but does have a longer wheelbase as well. So you do get more car, and you feel it definitely in the back seats compared to the Wuling Hongwang. So yeah, it's actually a really good car, really good value. So I'm actually genuinely considering one of these for most of the journeys that I make, probably about 95 of them. This will be totally adequate, and it is cool. I don't feel like I'm missing anything from a big car. All right, that's it for our time with the Geely Panda Mini. Genuinely am not looking forward to giving it back. I'm not Eve. Really enjoyed this the past 2 days. It's cheap, it's cheerful, it's lovable, puts a smile on your face in the car park because it looks so cool, and I put a smiley face behind the wheel because it is actually quite fun to drive, and I do think that it's high enough above basic that it could actually be a daily driver for about 95 people and then have a bigger car for the other occasions. I genuinely do think that it's good enough to do that, and of course would have more space on our roads and our car parks as well if we did. But no, it's been a great job by Geely. I think this is genuinely a better car than the Wuling Hongwang. I think it's bigger, it's got more space inside, more appropriate for a family of 3 or more, and it's also got better equipment, that panel roof, the reversing camera, and the 22 kilowatt DC fast charging on some models, as well worth having. So you had a really good job, deserves to do well, and who wouldn't want to see more of this face on the road? I know I would. So thank you for watching, and if you subscribe, thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.